don't know my work should Google my work and look at the range of characters that I play. I play everything from doctors, lawyers, police officers. So it's not. I think the new millennials think I'm typecast. I'm not. I think the new millennials got to do their homework. Because every time I have an interview, somebody asks me the same question. It's not personal.
Yeah.
It's just that you got to do your homework. Because it's a range of characters that I play.
Gotcha.
From good guys to bad guys to pastors. I was in a gospel. I played the pastor. I was just on Black Lightning last week. 2 weeks ago, I played a pastor. So when people see those roles, they go like, they never comment on those roles. Now, let me just say this in your defense, because I don't want you to get defensive.
No.
Because we have to, one of the things I think we have to do, and we were just talking about an audition we had, where this white director had never seen any of my work. It's disrespectful to me, because I've been doing this 35 years. And so when I first started with Swirl, Eric Thomasuna said to me, whenever I work, you're going to work. So I think this is an opportunity because, and I'm going to say this publicly, Bounce is probably the only network that would let me do a character like this. Period. Every time I go on to NBC, ABC, CBS, they say, oh, he's just a little too edgy. I'm probably the nicest guy in the business. I don't fight. I can't fight. I ain't had a fight since 4th grade. If I don't have him with me, I ain't even start no trouble. So I think when you play a bad guy like Rex, the reason why it's so interesting, and after Cuddy, they try to put me in a bad guy bag. And then I did Pastors. So what happens is when you're dark and strong, they make you the bad guy. You got to read Toms, Coons, Bucks, Mammies, and Mulattoes by Donald Bogle to understand the stereotypes. So the range of my work, I've broken the stereotypes. But then when a guy like Rex Fisher comes along, the beauty of Rex Fisher is Bounce TV letting me really make him real. That's the beauty of it.
You know, let me jump in. And what's interesting there too is like that Cuddy and Chauncey had such a huge impression socially, even now with millennials, even though those are older films. And to Cliff's point, he's played such a variety of roles, but those two are iconic, as is Pinky.
Right, exactly. And I think most people, not most people, but when you look on social media and you always see him as the memes as Pinky or playing the bad
the internet wins all the time.
Right, and so thank you for clearing that up.
And also, let me say, if you notice though, well, we get in the previous 2 seasons, the bad character, but he's really not. What is he done bad? He's not murdered anybody.
Right.
We haven't really had him do anything bad. So
well, he's sitting in somebody's house eating chicken. And
does that well. So it's interesting as we continue to develop his character. You know, we try to be aware of those comparisons too, and see, and you see in his relationship with Ella develop more now from season 1, season 2, season 3. How real that was, and then his son. So you know, and then being a parent as well.
So so just so you understand, I'm not putting you on the spot, but I think this is a public spotlight that every interview I do, I've been in Quick Trip, Rouse, or Kroger down here, Publix, and people coming, you always bad guy. And the funny thing is, it's harder for me to play a bad guy than play a funny guy like Pinky, because I've never been in trouble, never been arrested, I don't fight, I barely want to have arguments, and so it's harder for me to like grab Carly Red's face like that than act goofy. It's big of a stretch for me as a person, but I'm a trained actor, and I think that's what happens sometimes when we go into auditions. And when I did Cuddy, it's just cold-blooded. It's just training, you know. So that's all it is. So there you have it.
Thanks.
Ray Cornelius. Oh, I'm sorry.
Joshua King with Singers. My question is for Demetria. You and Keith have a really strong dynamic on camera. Is that due to, I guess, the musicality of your backgrounds, each of you, or in what y'all have in common, or is that something different?
I think it's a combination of a few things. You know, of course, we're both musicians. We definitely love the art of that, but we use that to translate into the acting as well. It's all forms of entertainment. Right. And as a singer, we both, I think I can speak freely for him when I say this, we both try to make sure we exude the emotion and we draw people into the story. The storyline between Miles and Tamara is something that I think a lot of people can relate to. I don't know how many people in here can say they ain't been cheated on, you know, or had some drama with their boo bear or whatever, you know. So this is such a real storyline, and I think that coming from a real place with the passion, with the love, with the energy of music behind it, and the fact that we really like each other. Like, you know, I always mess with him because I don't know how many of y'all know, but boy was a Power Ranger. Like, a kid grew up loving him. You know what I'm saying? So he's got work behind him too, just like what Clifton was saying. You know, so the ability to bring everything that he's had from that, everything I've been able to do, thank God. You know, we just really try to make sure the dynamic is real.
I was going to ask Keith and Eric, you guys, I want to say Saints and Sinners is the only Atlanta-based production where most of the cast are here in Atlanta. So how does that feel to, because no one else is really doing that. So this is kind of really an Atlanta-grown series.
No, it is. And first, we have to say thank you to Bounce for allowing us to make a series where we are able to, and not only is it Atlanta grown, Trey has now moved here. Cliff lives here.
So, I moved here too, save one of them taxes.
Yeah, exactly. In general, I mean, the idea was for it to be as much homegrown as possible. We still have a job to give Jim the ability to market and bring talent from LA in, but the idea was always an ensemble cast, including as much locally as possible and building that up. Jasmine, I mean, just has killed it on this show. For us, that was always the goal, and Bounce allowed us to do that, and were instrumental in us being able to do that.
I want to add to that. You know, sometimes what happens is the talent levels can be off when, say, like on the play circuit, you bring in the nationals. On this show, man, like I saw the Quad last week. I'm looking at this show, the level of talent that they, like George and them bring in, it doesn't drop off. You know, the mother is murdering.
What is a local show? That's the thing. George casting, I mean, it really, really is homegrown. Yeah. And it just felt right. Bounce is an Atlanta network, you know, so everything about it, you know, organically has become what it's become, and it's been great.
And also to piggyback that, it's just you have so much talent here. You'll see the cameos, and we have Kiki Wide. Year before we had Kelly Price,
Kenya Moore,
Candy Burris. She played the nurse over here, so a lot of people live here, so we piggyback those situations. Just glad to be here shooting now. So it feels good and it's good.
Word.
Hey, what was Keith a Power Ranger?
No, he was the black one. Like he was. Which color was he? He was the green one. He was the green one. So I'm always like, you know, morph or whatever that thing is you do.
Do it.
So I'll ask again. We were talking about this earlier offline. You guys don't actually see your scripts until it's. So how do you as actors adjust to, oh my God, I've got to do this now, or oh okay, we're going here. How do you guys adjust to? Because this, to me, it's very smooth, but I can also tell that this is very fast paced at the same time. So how do you guys as actors adjust to the script changes and the pace of the series? Anyone can take it.
I was going to say, for me, I guess, you know, being introduced in the first season, that finale, all the way up into the second season, as the scripts were coming, like you said, fast paced, you know, you're going along with the flow, but when you get that one script, like how I got at the end of season 2, where he's buried alive, you kind of like, it's no certain type of way to really prepare for it, but it's, for me, I know I ask a lot of questions, like, you know, so am I gonna make it back, or just
that's
trying
the first question
that's the first question you ask. You know what I'm saying? So as far as, you know, just preparing and just being used to that fast pace as an actor, period, it's pretty a smooth transition and just preparing for it.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Jazz.
Oh well, being a part of the cast since season 1. I was used to the pacing of it, you know, the fast pace. So by season 3 now, I know Christy, and I know my relationship with Tamara and with Miles and Levi and everybody involved. So I don't want to. It is easy to just jump right in because we know our relationships and connections now, and we know where the story is. So it's easy to get the script and say, "Oh, this is where we're going." Oh, I didn't see that coming, but okay, let's turn that corner and let's drive off the cliff. And that's what we're doing in season 3. We are driving off the cliff with no seatbelts on. I cannot wait for you guys to see the rest of the season. I can't wait to see it myself.
It takes a lot of trust. I think that because we have been in this, because the Bounce family has trusted us, the Swirl family has trusted us, we've all gotten to grow and learn these characters together. On top of the writing being really, really smart. Ty is amazing. So you never have to come in and say, oh, I hope I ain't gotta go to them and say, this don't make no damn sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really get to just immerse yourself in who you need to be in that moment. And I have people around me especially that I know can carry their own weight. Nobody's carrying anybody else. Everybody is standing on their own. Everybody's character has stretched in this season. Like, we really got a chance to flex on me, but you know what I'm saying? So it's been a really fun ride, but I think that without the trust that's been built as this family has grown, we wouldn't be able to do it as smoothly.
But the writing, I'm Rhonda Penrice, representing Atlanta Voice, but the writing in this episode, it seems like it has gotten deeper than when we first started. Like, it's a lot more layers and so forth.
I think one of the things we got to give, honor and praise to these two guys right here and the Swirl family. But Russ Parr is, he's very, he's so, I think we all can say Russ, Russ allows you to just find your moments. Yeah. Again, for me, it's not, like, I played, like, that scene in Dead President, it wasn't easy for me to knock Lorenz down and say, he's one of my friends. Russ, that scene in the kitchen, Russ just said, keep eating your chicken. It's not like I came up with that. I was eating the chicken anyway because I like chicken. Russ said, keep eating the chicken and just have fun watching him get beat up. And so Russ comes in every morning, and those scenes with you and Jasmine and all of this stuff that we're seeing, we read it, and we're seeing it for the first time like you all. We read it, it comes off the page. But Russ really allowed, because, we actors, we've been doing this a long time, so we don't come in, we're not nervous per se, but we're trying to find those subtle nuances of the character. And Russ does so much great homework. When you have a great, that's why we use, like, Vanessa directed a couple episodes, but this season there, Russ, and you come in, you can say, Russ, can I try this? And he'll say, you know what, let's go to Ty and let's talk, let's try it. That helps us immensely, and I just wanted to throw that in there. It's amazing.
I have a question. Kim Ford with Jubilee Mag and AIB TV. Like, as you're out doing other things, do people walk up to you and say, hey, this happened in my church, or this happened to me? Because you guys go really deep into what really happens in church sometimes. So has that ever happened to you?
Well, people say, people mostly say, like, they're glad that someone is telling a story about what happens in church and, like, the nuances and the ins and outs, because there hasn't been a series to do what we're doing. So to tell the ins and out of the business of church, not just how the word can change you, but the business. We forget it's a building. The rent has to be paid, and the lights have to be kept on, and there's people that come clean the church, and there's a whole government to every single church. You have the elders and the deacons and they all, keep the church laws, and so we go into detail about that. And it's not always cute, even in church, business is business. And so people always say they're really fascinated by seeing the behind the scenes, the inner workings of a church. And I always tell people, we're not trying to bash the church. That's not what we're doing with Saints and Sinners. Yeah. These are individuals. We're telling human stories. The setting just happens to be in a church.
Yeah, got it.
Well said.
Stephanie Lockhart with My Heart Entertainment. Now that you've been filming this, do you go to church and do you look at your pastors and or say it's different now or the same?
Let me start by saying I am a DK. Okay? My folks was deacons in that thing. I sang in the choir. I directed the choir. We were at church 4-5 times a week. I saw, and I mean, not in depth like that with the murder and all that other stuff, but you knew who was sleeping with who. You knew who wasn't really right with their business. You knew who was scamming who. Like, you know, but you just didn't talk about it because you wanted to get your praise on. So this isn't anything different than what I think that we've experienced it. I think the fact that we're bringing it out gives us more of an opportunity to just kind of talk about it and maybe squash some of the stuff that would go unsaid, unnoticed, and unfiltered. You know what I'm saying? Versus just letting that thing spread like this has done.
I gotta say, I became disillusioned with the church because I saw so much weird stuff. And one thing I like about this show is that it's an offshoot of when we did the Under Shepherd. And if you saw the Under Shepherd, I don't know how many people saw the Under Shepherd, but it's riveting. And the church is called a den of sin. All the sinners go to church to try to turn their lives around. There's a church in LA, and I'm not going to say, where they had to stop the ladies from sitting on the front row because they're all sitting on the front row with no panties on. No.
Oh my God!
Yes, sir. I'm sure TMZ, somebody I can handle it. But I'm just saying, we that's why we can't judge. You know, and that's hey listen, and that's what drama is all about. You know, like so. I think we have to be careful because we hold pastors and churches and they're just human beings who make mistakes. And I think this show, like even with Rex Fisher, Rex may do a turn in season 6 if we're here. You know, so and in a TV series you gotta build it.
I like how you went from 3 to 6.
Oh.
And
to season 10.
You already counted 4 or 5 in the back.
I think that's why this show is so like
it's just necessary.
It's we just touching on regular people and you're in the church and you see things and you know a lot of us grew up in the church and you see little things you go like, ooh, this ain't supposed to be happening because they just told me we're not supposed to fornicate over here, but these people, and I think you got to be real careful when you espouse to be Christian because people hold on to that. You know, so this show, that's why it's so back and forth because one person good over here with saints over here and then they turn out to be it's crazy. So there you have it. I'm sure I'm gonna get some calls. I'll be ready.
How did you guys like this 301?
It was great. Very great.
Did it answer your questions like where we left off in season 2? Did it answer your questions?
I thought it did.
Yeah. Well, what do you think?
No, for me, it'll be interesting to see where the characters go. And like you said, with this being the 3rd season, you guys are now, you know these guys, so it's a little bit easier to play them. But then also, it for us as the viewer, we're getting to know you a little bit more, and now we kind of know how you work. In a sense, we know you a little bit better. I guess one of the questions I was going to ask the producers of the show: how do you guys come up with these? Because the storylines are like, where is this happening?
Well, you know, it's interesting. So that's Ty, our showrunner, and it's really her baby. And you know, we just help bring it to life and cast and do and support the production. But those are really her storylines and the team, the team of writers working with Network. Network is really involved. Elizabeth KLOI works with Ty as well. So it's there. I mean, literally 8-9 months of work to come up, which is what we hope everyone notices. They are becoming more layered, and we're starting to see some other nuances. And you know, to the point that was earlier, it's always tough because you want to bring some shock in. So if somebody has to die, it's like, oh man, it becomes when we get the call, they're like, hey, what do you think about this? We're like, do we have to do that one, or can we just, so because we get attached. But it's really Ty and the writers team that comes up with the storylines, the outlines, and ultimately the scripts. And pages change as we're going, just based on how things evolve. I mean, you start with 8 scripts that you feel like are going one way, but as you're shooting, sometimes you see other ideas that may be better, and they pivot quickly, and talent pivots quickly to just get the best that we can in front of the camera.
The numbers have been astronomical too in terms of people that are tuning in. Did you guys know that the show was going to be this successful?
No. We wanted it to be. We wanted it to be, but we had no idea how phenomenal our fans and viewers would turn up and turn out for us every single season. Like, on my social media, I always shout out our fans and our viewers, because everywhere I go, I could be in the laundromat, I could be in the grocery store, I could be in the hair salon, at the airport. The people love Saints and Sinners, and it is that type of show for them where they block off their Sunday. I've had so many women come up to me with the same story, and they say, girl, I tell everybody Sunday nights at 8 o'clock, don't call me. Don't call me, because I'm not going to answer. I'm watching my show. And we have groups, we have fans and people who view our show. They get together and have viewing parties at their houses. And it's really an event for our viewers. And because the story, they just love the story. It's delicious scandal. And they love it. And, you know, we love them. And every season we think, okay, wow, we broke the rating season 1. All right, season 2 comes along. We shatter it again. Now season 3, I'm just excited to see what our viewers do for us.
And Atlanta really supports us.
Yes.
I have a question.
2 more questions that will break out in one.
I have a question, Kim, with Jubilee Mag and AIB TV. Let's talk about music. For the first season, we know you brought out, we came on set and we saw Dietrich Hatton and Big Boy shoot an amazing video. It was dope being on set for that. So are there going to be any more music projects like that come from the show?
I don't necessarily say projects, but moments in the show.
Okay.
Absolutely. So just stay tuned.
Who? Can we say who?
This year we have Sir the Baptist.
Oh.
And the music videos are always, you know, believe it or not, those are organic. It's not necessarily planned. The artists will be like, hey, we want to do something, and then it becomes, and in particular, that video shoot specifically, that's how that happened. That wasn't something we had planned that season. It just came about. So now that you've mentioned it, we're going to rethink about it. Come on, idea.
Yes, that was a huge, because especially in the church and in mainstream, it's great to see somebody like a Dietrich come together with Big Boy and make it, because it starts the conversation that needs to be had.
Oh no, I mean, again, I don't think you're wrong. She's looking at me now.
Even with season 2,
I
had a single out called Easy. And they are so very supportive of each of our endeavors. You know, anything I've done outside of this, they've been like, yo, where can we get tickets? What time? You know, whatever.
Nice.
But they included my song Easy, ironically, to my nemesis dancing to it in season 2. So the musical aspect they do recognize is very important, and they look for the ways that they can incorporate us as well.
I love it.
Rodney Ho with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. I was just curious, anybody's thoughts on being on a network that didn't exist 10 years ago? You guys are kind of their groundbreaking series. What's it like, the responsibility of helping being on this network?
It's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah, most definitely.
It's really incredible to be able to be on Bounce. Like, everyone here, like, we can touch everyone. You know, a lot of times you work, you know, as an actor, you don't know who the company is or who the people are necessarily. You just know there's a team behind you.
Right.
But with Bounce, we can touch them. They're on set with us. They reach out to us. They're incredible. So we're a family and we're a real team. And it's amazing to be a part of Bounce and to have this groundbreaking show with Bounce.
And you know, as an actor, you take chances with different roles. Something as unprecedented as this, you know, can be a bit scary, but when you recognize that the network is willing to take the risk with you, it really sweetens the pot when it turns out the way that it has.
Well, it should just show the culture. I mean, ultimately, we come over to the network to screen the episode. I mean, this is homegrown. It's really unprecedented. So it's like, is it scary? You know, new network that's less than 10 years old. It's amazing. We're all here today with folks from the network all watching the episode with cast. I mean, just
how far is your commute?
in Atlanta?
How far is your commute from
like
Swirl?
15 minutes max. You know, that was, you know, so that's awesome. You know, that part we love. I mean, because before this show, where else could we do that? And really, how many other shows shooting in Atlanta can do that in Atlanta? It's either in LA or New York. Like, we're here.
Yeah, I mean, even Turner, all the
creatives.
Turner,
the creatives, but the creatives
Turner,
are out in LA. Yeah.
And actually, I don't want to take away. There's a couple studios for sure that are homegrown, but as far as network, local talent, everybody together, this has really been, you know, a significant achievement.
And I know I have a lot to say because I've been doing this so long. I was told by one of the national networks I went up for a big TV movie, and they took me in a room, and a white producer and a black female director said the networks think you're so scary you're gonna scare everybody. I'm about to write my book, so I'm gonna talk about it anyway. And I don't have no problems with ABC, CBS, NBC, but I am so overjoyed, first of all, to see what's happening with Panther and to see the diversity. And this cat right here is like my brother. When I say when I was down, Eric has hired me for the last 10, 15 years, straight, no chaser. But I'm gonna just say this.
Great actor.
I was the worst actor in my program. I was just worked harder than everybody. I want to be a football player. But I'm gonna say it personally, and I've said it to Bounce family before, I wouldn't have a place to be if it wasn't on Bounce. They're the only network that allows me to do the kind of work that I can do. I'm just an actor. I wouldn't grab Carly Rae by the face. In fact, I didn't want to grab her, but I'm an actor. You know, they didn't want Al Pacino. They didn't want Marlon Brando in The Godfather. It wouldn't be the same Godfather. So for me, devoid of anybody except Eric, I wouldn't have a place to be. So all the work that I've done, I would probably end up just living off my pension. But Bounce said, hey, you know, we're going to create this character. And in The Under Shepherd, I played a pastor who was a nice guy, couldn't preach, was funny. And then I became Rex Fisher. And then you go, okay, and tying those guys, I get a script sometimes, and I go like, Rex ain't going to say this. And she's like, well, Cliff, you always want to push the envelope. I want to play him like the Godfather. So they allow me to kind of like, I got a scene one time when I spit on the window and called, I said, you fucking, I didn't say effing, I said, you bitch. And we left that in there, and it's so powerful. So Bounce is doing something, and I know this will sound crazy, because things are happening right in front of us that are changing the history of television and film in this country forever. I've never seen African Americans with different hair and hues and colors. Back in my day, Wesley's agent sent him in for a role. They called him and said, don't send anybody darker than Denzel. Do your homework. Do your homework. Go watch and read and find the article, Black Hollywood, White Hollywood. So I'm telling you, get out and get the people to watch this show so we can have 10 more shows like this and even more, because it's making history. It's making history here because Bounce is the only network that would allow the last character we've ever seen, and I'll stop right here, is a man called Hawk. That's a strong black man who's not afraid to be tough like those guys on The Godfather. And it's all acting. And it would not happen. And I say it every time I do an interview, I say it. It would not happen. I'm so happy right now, I don't know what to do. Because when you turn 62, you're trying to figure out, okay, how I'm going to pay these bills, how I'm going to keep my career going. And when at the height of my career, ICM, CAA, William Morris, I ain't bitter about it, didn't sign me. And the networks were like, he's just too edgy. Bounce said, hey, we like this cat, let's do it, and this is what you see. And it's all acting. And so we gotta get the word out. We gotta let this show run for 25 seasons, and we gotta get another 20 come right in. I'm trying to buy a boat. That's all. No, but I just wanted to put that out to you all because I wanna give a shout out to you all because what you all do, not just the African American press, but the press in general, to support us, because this is history in the making.
And also to lobby that just with us as producers, we just feel good being able to hire people. You know, sometimes we're fans of these people's work as well. So, oh my God, we got this person that's going to be in the show, and it just adds the caveat to the show. And it's just a great show. It's good work, and we have fun. I don't know anybody else on set. Everybody pretty much have fun shooting this, and we become sort of like a family.
Oh yeah, everybody has.
I think my man moved here from Baltimore. We gave him a welcome party.
I just want to thank Swirl Films.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yes.
Because I'm going to tell y'all, I was the only person in the lead cast of Saints and Sinners, Atlanta-based.
Wow.
So, you know, everybody else is from LA in our lead cast except me. But they took a chance on me. And they said, you know what, we want to give someone local opportunity. And I went in and read sent my tape in with George Pierre, and they cast me as Dr. Christy Johnson in Saints and Sinners. So I just want to thank Swirl Films for taking a chance on a local talent.
Yes.
I'm proud to be
I
here.
want to throw some more in here. So you guys, ladies and gentlemen, as you go do your work, can really understand how important you all are. This cat right here I met in the streets, Baltimore and D.C., because I'm from D.C., grinding in the streets. And to all the young people out there that may not think there's hope for a career. This guy was grinding in the streets, doing little independent movies, not making any money, and came down here and did one episode. And it's been on for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, when I met Jasmine, she had one line in the Preacher's Kid, or the Preacher's Kid?
Yeah.
You know, and all of these young people are doing excellent work, but they've allowed us. Swirl is instrumental because they have the relationships, not just the expertise, but the relationships. We've been buddies. Keith started with me 10 years ago on a play circuit. So, and I'm gonna say this last thing. Last season, I saw Tyron Turner. I almost flipped.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's happening that you guys gotta understand, I watched Black Lightning last night. I saw Antonio Farkas. So what happens is, after you get to a certain point in this business, and I'm not playing a race card, but it's for women, it's for African Americans, Latinos, Asians, women. When you get to certain, you're done. When I saw Tyron, I know that has a direct correlation to Keith saying, I always loved his work. They grew up together. So it's becoming, like Atlanta's becoming a breed, and it starts with you all. Putting that word out there, pumping this show up, pumping all these shows, but this show right here is doing something unprecedented. Bounce is doing something that nobody in the history of television is doing. And they're allowing guys who typically wouldn't have a home. Nobody's running out to call Tyron. They should be. If Menace hit today,
So talented.
if Menace hit today, he'd be a big star. Nobody, but this cat right here knows him and said, hey, you coming down here, and you guys have no idea, ladies and gentlemen, how it feels when you're at home and you used to be hot and you used to be the man, and your phone stopped ringing, and then all of a sudden you get a call and you're doing like 5 episodes, you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then that money comes in a little. It's a weird connection that's unprecedented with Swirl and Bounce. And I just wanted to lay that out for you all so you guys could get the history. And for me, and I'm talking because it's so, I almost got to get out of the room because it's so emotional. When I had nothing, I tore my Achilles, I couldn't walk. This cat right here hired me and made sure, shut up, Eric, and made sure that if this show went, I was a part of the show. And it's important for y'all to know all of that. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Looking forward to a great season 3.
I have a quick question. I'm doing this for BuzzFeed and Forbes. Do you, ABC has a new show coming up that's like church related, and then there's Greenleaf. Do you guys feel like you opened up that?
Let me just be in a fair world. Keith and I produced a film called The Under Shepherd, and if you go back and take a look at that cast. And look at Greenleaf's cast. You will see.
Well.
So
come on, Pastor.
We were on the way with this show, and then our earlier conversations with Bounce. This was always an idea and an iteration of something that the network wanted to do. It just happened to be a synergy there, and then we just kept going. So it's always going to be we're definitely competitive. Who was first? Whose idea was it first? I will say Keith and I had a film that we had done specifically with Russ Barr, actually, which was what was great about circling Russ back in on the church from Russ's point of view at that time. So yeah, so we're competitive. We like to think we were first. But absolutely, we were.
I kind of think the stories are different, though. I mean, Greenleaf, I think, focuses on the family, and I think what you guys focus on.
Oh, totally.
Yeah,
no, totally. I think the writing is totally different. I mean, we had Lamont, we had Keith David in The Under Shepherd. There is a lot of cast. I mean, we're cast divided.
And just so you know, let me just tell you, they called me to come in and audition. I said, no, I'm going to be on Saints and Sinners. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, that's a fact. My agent called me and said they want you to go on the read for Greenleaf. I said, no, I'm good. I'm riding with Saints and Sinners, baby. And that's a fact.
But there's room. And I think there's room for that. I think, it gets the conversation started. I love like the music video mention. I mean, I'm texting, Elizabeth now, like, hey, let's not forget about that. That was great. It was a great conversation starter.
And bring the press out for that too.
Absolutely. So I think there's room for us all, and I hope that we all have our unique style, as each other show does as well.
So we're gonna have the guys over here, and the ladies will be in another room. As I know, a couple of you expressed that you want to talk to certain people. So let me get the talent situated, and then we'll assign you guys accordingly.
Jesus, Jesus, Jesus.
Y'all see what we doing today? Dimitri, what are we doing today?
Sitting in the saints and sinners' room.
I love my cast members. Saints and Sinners Bounce TV Press Day. April 8th.
April 8th.
Jay.
Yes. 9/8 Central on Bounce TV, Season 3, Fire coming.
This Sunday.
And there goes this Sunday.
April 8th.
April 8th. Bow.
Wow.
What it do, y'all? What it do? We are gearing up for the Season 2 marathon of Saints and Sinners. What Saints and Sinners today? 1 o'clock, 12 p.m. Central. See, I almost messed that up. 1/12. Make sure that you tune in. Get your live. Tune in to Bounce TV.